Do you support Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
Affordable Care Act.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Obama, so I don't support him in the Obama things that he's got going on.
Why do you like the Affordable Care Act more than Obamacare?
Because I don't like Obama.
But you like the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah.
What if I told you Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing?
I cannot believe in the year of our Lord 2025, in the United States of America, there are people who live in this country who do not know that Obamacare was a slur by the Republicans for the ACA.
People are breaking down on TikTok because they just realized Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act. The heartbreaking part, so many have pre-existing conditions. One man admitted he voted for Trump without knowing it was Obamacare that allowed his mother with stage 4 cancer to get treatment. This is what happens when misinformation wins out over facts. So we've got Trump voters out here with pre-existing conditions who are out there crying because they just figured out that Obamacare, it's actually the Affordable Care Act. Seriously? These are the same folks who just voted to repeal the very law that's been helping them out. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? Like, they've been living life thinking they're good, all thanks to, you guessed it, Obamacare. This situation is a classic reminder of why it's so important to stay informed about what's really going on. I mean, understanding these things shouldn't be rocket science. Google is free. Don't Google after the election, Google before. But we've got all the information at our fingertips, but some folks still don't bother to dig a little deeper. It's frustrating to see people get caught up in political rhetoric without really knowing what they're voting for. At the end of the day, it's about your health and your future. You need to be smarter and more aware so we don't end up crying over something we could have understood better in the first place. Let's make sure we're all in the know the next time it counts in 2028. What's
the main difference between Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act?
One is you pay, and then the other one is Obama pays for you.
Right, Obama pays, pretty big difference.
Pretty big difference.
I believe that Obamacare, the premiums are too much, too high, so people end up paying more. Right. So I believe in the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, so I just saw a video where we're still circling the airport when it comes to the Affordable Care Act versus Obamacare. Now, we have already established that those are one and the same. The name of the act is called the Affordable Care Act. But Republicans used to call it Obamacare because they knew that you were so stupid, you would think that Obamacare was something you didn't want. That you would think it was something different from the Affordable Care Act. They were right. And that's what it is.
I just had a patient say to me, thank God Trump was elected and we can get rid of this stupid Obamacare and go back to the ACA. Oh, I love being in my reputation era while they're in their fuck around and find out.
And which plan do you support, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
The Affordable Care Act.
And what is it about Obamacare that you do not like?
I just think that there's a lot of holes in it and it needs to be revamped.
What do you agree with, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act?
I'm more sort of towards the Affordable Care Act.
So the Affordable Health Care Act is still a better option than Obamacare?
Yes.
So the Affordable Care Act is more affordable than Obamacare?
Just the name says it all.
Do you agree with the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare?
The affordable.
And why do you prefer the Affordable Care Act over Obamacare?
I just don't agree with the whole Obamacare policy thing that's going on. I just don't agree with it.
Well, breaking fuck the news, a poll that was taken by NBC News shows a clear message: a majority of Trump supporters back extending Obamacare subsidies. Most of President Donald Trump's supporters back keeping enhanced subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. The central obstacle in the ending government shutdown, according to the new poll from the Nonpartisan Health Policy Research Group, it was conducted on September 23rd through the September 29th, just days before Congress failed to pass a funding measure to keep the government open. More than 22 million people receive subsidies, which are set to expire at the end of the year unless Congress extends them. Losing the subsidies could mean the average out-of-pocket premium payment could double in 2026 from $888 a year to $1,904. And from an earlier analysis that was taken, around 4 million people are projected to go without coverage next year because they can no longer afford it. According to the Congressional Budget Office, extending them would cost the federal government $350 billion over the next decade. The new survey found 59% of Republicans and 57% of the Make America Great Again supporters favor extending enhanced subsidies. You niggas make my ass itch. You fucks make my buttocks itch so bad. I'll keep you updated with more.
Hello guys, and welcome back to today's episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, if you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe. You can always like, share, and leave your opinion in the comment section. And today's episode is actually super crazy because most of the MAGA supporters did not actually know that Obamacare was actually a slur for Affordable Healthcare Act. The same thing that MAGA supporters actually support under Donald Trump. But this law was actually used to partially provoke the racial propaganda, so that it was actually associated with Obama, who is actually a black person, and most of the MAGA supporters did not want anything to do with it. And this shows actually the hypocrisy of white supremacy, the hypocrisy of politics, and the ignorance of MAGA supporters, ignorance of most average citizens, and how they actually prioritize loyalty over their interest. The same affordable healthcare have been helping the MAGA supporters, have been helping the red state. They have been receiving the same share as the blue state, but they actually end up rejecting the same thing just because it is associated with a particular party or a particular race, or a particular person who is associated with a particular race, and you actually end up suffering as an average white person. And this is actually what we say for those who rejected the Obamacare just because they did not want anything to do with Obama because he's a black person, without actually knowing that the same act is helping everybody, including them. And this is the same thing with the food snap. Food snap was actually introduced in 1930 to actually, it was actually a welfare for the less privileged white people. But when the black people came, the white conservative started going against it. And when it was just cut, they come to realize that the white people, the red state, have been receiving the large share. And I feel that the MAGA supporters are finding out that racism is super expensive. The politics of partisan will not actually help an average American, will not actually help an average MAGA supporters. It will keep on rewarding the Republican elites at the expense of the MAGA supporters. But yeah, as we are seeing in the video, that is what actually happens. Let me know what you think about MAGA supporters not actually knowing that The Obamacare was actually a slur, but it actually meant the Affordable Health Care Act.
Obama, where are you at? Michelle, where are you at? Hillary, where are you at? Because I need y'all to get on these folks about what the Affordable Care Act really was and what insurance was before you put it in place. Where are y'all at? Because the way that these lies are spreading that all of this is because of Obama, I'm going to need y'all to speak up. I'm going to need y'all to speak up because I still remember what insurance was like before you came through with it. And these folks are out here forgetting what happened, just like they forgot what happened during Trump's first term. This world collapsed because of this man and his inability to use the military properly to stop an outbreak. And somehow we still put him in office. And again, everything is collapsing. But again, it's not his fault. It's always somebody else. Where y'all at? Michelle, Mrs. Obama, where you at? Where you at? Because I'm going to need you to speak up. Hillary, we would have universal health care if they had voted for you. Please, where y'all at? Where are y'all at? Because this is going to be a big issue for the next election. The lies that they are spreading about what is happening with the insurance needs to be stopped. Everyone who has worked in healthcare over the last several decades that remembered that people were losing their homes. People were going into debt because of healthcare bills that they were not expecting because the insurance companies were just going rapid. They literally like, no, we're just not going to pay for it. What you mean? When did that start happening? Y'all need to speak up. Where are y'all at? The Affordable Care Act saved the lives of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. I need you guys to get your facts straight. I need you guys to get your facts straight.
So I don't remember who it was that was doing this. I think it might have been like one of those daily shows or one of those variety shows or something like that, right? So they were in the streets and they were asking people randomly, do they prefer the ACA or Obamacare? Which one do they prefer? And, you know, to my disappointment and shock and dismay, there were people that said, I prefer the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And there were people that said, I prefer Obamacare. Now, just so we're clear, Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing. So what I'm trying to understand is, how are people confused? How are there people that are using Obamacare / the Affordable Care Act and they don't know that they're one and the same? And I know that we're quick to blame the Dems and say their messaging sucks and they don't know how to message stuff right. They don't know how to say stuff. But at the same time, we the people got to do better. We the people also have to research and invest the time in understanding what things mean and what the impact is. Because I can't understand how these are people who have it. These are people that are on Obamacare. We got to do better. We gotta do better. And not for nothing, is it an extra step? Yes. Does it take a little extra time? Yes. But is it better to be in the know and be aware? Also, yes. Because a lot of these politicians are counting on us being unaware and not knowing and not understanding. Why you think the Republicans could go out there and claim that their big blasphemous bill is the best thing since sliced bread for the working class? They're hoping the working class doesn't know any better. They're hoping that we don't research on our own and actually look at the Medicaid cuts, the Medicare cuts, that we're not paying attention to the defunding of infrastructure, education, healthcare. I mean, we got to do better, y'all. We must, now more than ever.